What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Long Play Listening Party, the show where we go deep on local music, writing, recording, inspiration, gear, whatever else sounds good to us. I'm Howie Howard from Mr. Furious Records. Nate Holt, my co-host, is on the line. What's going on, Nate?
I'm great. Great.
Clapping, unnecessary clapping, but we embrace it. Spencer, Goertz-Giffen, and Braden Young from Alien Hellbop are our guests tonight. What's going on, Spencer and Braden?
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
And before we get too deep into the music, I just remembered we want to do a little PSA announcement. Regular listeners may have noticed Royce Diamond's absence. So we just want to tell you what's going on with Royce. And basically, he has a ton of great projects going on that pay him money. And so he is focusing on the projects that pay the money right now instead of this little passion project listening party thing that we have going on. So we love Royce. We miss Royce, but he's doing what he needs to do. And we hope he'll be back maybe after the holidays, something like that. But we're obviously still in touch with Royce, and Royce, I'm sure, will appear again at some point, kind of TBD. Nate, did I miss anything there, or
I don't
anything
think
to add?
so. I don't think so. Just that, sponsors. That's all. That's all. I mean, I don't know. That's it.
Sure, that's a great point. There's some level of sponsorship that would bring Royce back, and if anyone wants to investigate what level that might be, you can reach us at thelongplaylp@gmail.com or any of our social channels, and we'd be very happy to discuss what kind of sponsorship we'd be looking for to bring Royce back in the short term. But on. Go ahead, Braden.
I haven't seen Royce in a long time, and I was looking forward to seeing you tonight, buddy. I hope you're doing good out there. I'll throw $1 in the pot.
Wow. Just $1?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a start.
Much.
It's a start. And,
Look,
speaking of starts...
Every bit counts. It's the intention. I mean, you
just start it rolling.
Yeah.
Get
Strength
the
in
avalanche
numbers.
headed
Strength in
downhill.
numbers. Yeah.
Well, let's get rolling with the music. Not necessarily the music, Nate, but with Spencer and Braden with your story. I mean,
Yeah.
do you want to tell us how you got started in music, and specifically how you got started with your band Alien Hellbop?
Okay, well, we started playing together in 2010 for Spencer's like solo acoustic stuff. And that ended up being the band Hello Biplane. At some point, we moved away from the Lawrence, Kansas City area to California, and we didn't have our rock outlets anymore. Spencer had been playing with the Kinetics. I had been playing with the Magentlemen. And those are, full rock bands. So we wanted a rock outlet, but we didn't know anybody, to make a full band. So we wanted to do a 2-piece band that had a fuller sound. And so we're trying to play with different ways to make that guitar drums thing sound a little bit bigger than, something like those early White Stripes, Black Keys records.
And I would say that we did know a lot of musicians when we moved to Oakland. My brother lived there, and we had a lot of friends. And very quickly, Braden joined. He was in like 3 or 4 other bands while we lived there in the course of less than a year. But this was our project that we had together, because I wasn't really interested in playing with anyone else. I just wanted to play with Braden.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Who's my sweetie pie. We're not like I don't know, just friends.
Yeah, we're more than friends,
We are-
FYI.
Yes.
Oh,
FYI.
okay.
Well, I mean, the kinetics were around for a while, and I'm sure it was that replacing that was not. You couldn't just go out there and do that.
Yeah, it was. I really, really missed playing electric guitar and performing. Yeah, the Kinetics, we were together from 2004 to 2012 when we moved to California. So, yeah, I needed to do something. Hello Biplane was not enough for me. I mean, I love Hello Biplane, but and we did go back to playing as a duo when we went to the Bay Area. So
That's Hello Biplane as a duo.
yeah.
Well, it was a duo originally, and then we got a handful of really, really good players.
What's it out?
Nate Holt being one of them.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
But we did.
Stop. And, oh yeah, we have full disclosure. I am in Hello Biplane, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, later on.
Yeah, we're not above shameless self-promotion, so we're actually when this episode comes out in a week, we're deliberately like sliding an episode into the feed one day ahead of you. That's an album that I made of some remixes and different things with collaborators, and so it's not going to sit at the top of the feed for more than a day. Putting the guests at the top of the feed, but like we are not above the shameless self-promotion here. So, in fact, that's how the show started, really.
It's a great premise.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What podcast isn't shameless self-promotion?
True.
Name one.
You can't do it.
No, it's impossible.
It's not possible. Well, should we get into some music, Nate? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've got it. The record queued up. Is there anything else, Brad or Spencer, that you want to say? Like I mean, we touched on me playing with Hello Biplane, but the both of them, like, I'll play the music I'm going to talk about, but seeing you guys play, I think I saw you guys at Frank's, and I've seen you a couple other times since then, but like, I didn't like. Brad is so super talented, and we'll get into it. But like Spencer, I guess your like stage presence and like just like rock like attitude, I just wasn't. I guess I just didn't see or didn't remember from seeing like the Kinetics, because that was a while ago, but like it's just fun. So but yeah, I'll play here.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, I want to hear how this duo gets muscled up.
Well, it gets muscled up in
Here
the
we
studio for sure.
Sure.
Where will you go after the quake? Where will you go? Drive in my car, drive real far, speed out of town. There's no time.
We're doing it on purpose now. Is that?
I'm not. I was just looking at my phone, just doing it. I was just head bobbing naturally.
I think Spencer and I might be doing it on purpose. So I'm hearing octave. I'm hearing low octave, right? What else is in there?
Well, so on this recording session, it's not how we play it live, when we perform this live, I play the bass notes on a sample pad.
Okay.
And drums, and Spencer plays guitar, and we both sing. So that it kind of turns that 2-piece thing into like a 3, maybe 4-piece situation, sound-wise. On this recording, we went down. we recorded this very quickly. What was it, like 2 days?
We set up the drums like one evening, the evening before we recorded. We just set up the drums and got all the levels. And then it was the next day, we had like a 16-hour day in the studio. And that was it for this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we recorded it down in Gainesville, Florida at this place called Pulp Art Studio, which is like a really, really nice studio. Spencer's brother, Winston, engineered and produced for us. But I didn't like bring my sample pad. We didn't bring any gear, you know?
And we didn't bring any gear because we thought there would be lots of gear at the studio, but it was brand new. And so they hadn't really outfitted it yet with a bunch of amps and guitars. So we just ended up I ended up playing my brother's guitar. It was a Goertz. So we were playing on stuff that we had never played on before.
Yeah.
But I thought it turned out I thought it turned out really well. And
yeah, it sounds great, but that's always weird to play on like borrowed gear, and I imagine kind of doubly weird when you're just a duo and some of that thickening up the sound is highly like dependent on the specific gear that you put together to do that.
Right. Mm-hmm. So honestly, like even just recording drums without the bass sample pad, I'm so used to having my drum part minimized, having the bass part minimized, because I'm doing both at once. And even just having the freedom of a full kit and 2 hands doing whatever I want was really hard. Like I didn't know how to play those drum parts without having, a lot of notes occupied with my offhand or my whatever hand. So after that got out of the way, then I was like, well, now I have to do bass parts. So I recorded bass parts on a real bass guitar, which once again, I don't know the songs except for this little 9x9 or 3x3 pad, hit this button. So then I went to play, an electric bass. And so these bass lines on the record are definitely not what you would hear live. I'm like messing around. You hear a lot of bass fills and stuff, and you just don't hear those live because, well, it would be impossible for me.
Because you only have the 9 patches. You can only play 9 notes.
So it was fun playing the bass.
The songs are just like so fun. Like I don't know.
It's fun. It's fun. Bass is fun, man. Yeah, you hear it like just in this song, especially a lot of these little bass runs and stuff. But yeah, so drums, bass, guitar, 2 vocal tracks, all in that one day for what is it, 5 or 6 songs? 5 songs?
5 songs, yeah.
And then Winston did the extra synth stuff.
Right. So that's like the key to beefing up this record is really all those synth parts.
Oh yeah, that
all over this record.
So you would never hear any of that at a live show?
Not yet.
Not yet, anyway, until Nate joins the band.
I mean, it's like you don't miss it though when you see you guys, but yeah, that tone that he was using and just that, that was like, it was like perfect. Like there wouldn't be any other part that I would think of to play. Like, and I don't know if I would even think of that part to play. It's fucking cool. No.
Yeah. Well, he definitely had a lot more time to mess around with it than we did. I don't know how many hours he put in on that synth work, but we're really glad he did. I mean, I think it really makes it, you know. If we had recorded this just like at home, you know, it'd be pretty bare bones, which is okay too. But I think doing it in a proper studio with a professional engineer, it really made it proper, you know, and good sounding.
And, you know, I'd like to say that last song we just listened to, Take Me Home, we did a music video. That's our only music video we have so far. So you guys can...
Oh, sweet. We'll link to that.
Check that
We'll
out.
link to it. It's cool as hell. It's very cool.
We recorded it right in our basement where we are right now. Yeah.
Yeah, the music video is a bare bones home production.
There we go.
You know?
Yes, it is. We recorded each other.
You wouldn't guess it though when you watch it.
Well, thanks.
Maybe people that do videos, they'll be like, that's the home production. That wasn't me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Spencer, what's the writing process like? Do you write alone? Do you write together?
Well, I think all of these songs on this EP I demoed when Braden was on tour with the band Scuba Mountain. So I had that place to myself. And so he kind of had showed me how to use the software program. Was it Studio One at the time?
I think we were using like an old pirated copy of Nuendo from 2001.
Oh yeah, it was Nuendo.
Nice.
So he had the drums set up, and I'm terrible at the drums, but I needed to have some sort of percussion. So I just pulled out some old journals, and in my journals I just write lyrics and poems, and I'll just kind of scan that and just lay down a guitar track, usually a riff I like. Kind of, just write the guitar part first, get the structure, verse, chorus, and then I'll just sing along with whatever lyrics I find out of my journal. And so I just kind of layer on. I start with the guitar usually, and then I sing, and then I'll usually put down some harmonies over that, and then bass and drums. So those were the demos. That's where these songs pretty much came out of, most of them. After the Quake, we wrote together in Oakland. I think we'd started writing that at the studio. We shared a studio in this amazing warehouse where it was just, stuffed full of bands. Like it was like maybe 3 levels. What was that place called?
The Oakland Music Complex.
Yeah, the Oakland Music Complex.
Nice.
Yeah, I think Deerhoof played there on that somewhere. I remember like seeing their studio and being in awe.
Oh yeah, you'd see like I can't remember what bands it was. I'd see like famous metal bands, in the hallway or whatever. I think like Green Day probably practiced there.
At some
It's
point,
like a famous
sure.
place.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty weird, pretty wild place.
And you guys are getting some crazy, I guess, Spencer, you're getting some crazy guitar tones.
Thank you. Yeah, I was feeling it there. I used my brother's pedals. I didn't even bring my own pedals, which was kind of stupid. I should have for the recording. I used this. What did he say? I called him before because I didn't even know what the pedal was because he made it.
Oh, okay.
He said he cloned it. It was a hot kick pedal. Just put it together with a bunch of parts.
The Howie's
That's probably what you're hearing here in this, guitar.
Howie's a
I'm known to make pedals from time to time.
Oh wow!
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah, it looked kind of like that. It was silver, but not. It was more of a like rectangle.
Yeah, hotcakes are great. Kind of underrated. Kind of a sleeper.
I enjoyed it. So I don't really remember all the pedals. That was the main distortion pedal to get that sound.
I'm biased being a synth player, but those synth lines are like pretty like critical sometimes.
Big
Like
time.
that tone, like just with that texture that it at the end of the song that it helps create.
I will definitely let Winston know.
I think
Compliments.
I might be wrong on this, but I think he was mostly using like a Prophet.
Yeah.
But he could have used a multitude of synths on there, but
And this song is about Sacré-Cœur in Paris. So that was pulled from a journal when I traveled Europe.
So how different is this from like? Would you say different is it from like kinetic stuff or other stuff like older stuff maybe?
I feel like on this song, Sacré-Cœur, that my brother was channeling Rainy Wah, who's the keyboard player in the Kinetics. Somehow, I don't know if he did it on purpose, but in this song especially, I thought it sounded like the Kinetics.
Okay.
But I don't know. I feel like since I sing the songs and have written a lot of the songs in this band, kind of sounds maybe somewhat similar. But
this song sounds a lot like the Kinetics.
Yeah.
I feel like that the Two Sons song that we heard earlier, the slower one, like doesn't really sound like the Kinetics. This sounds like the Kinetics to me.
Yeah. But the other members from the Kinetics really brought a lot of, to the band that Braden can't do.
Can't do it.
He can't be like, it's just not gonna.
Sure, but you play together, and that stuff starts to merge and leak, and you pick up each other's influences, and
Yeah. It's my voice. It's pretty much the same voice. The Kinetics as in Haley and Hellbop. I don't feel like I'm singing much different in this band. It's the voice, my rock voice, I guess, that I always use.
Spencer, were you about to tell us a minute ago, like the story of this song, or like the lyrics or something? Did we get that out? Or
You can kind of, if you listen to the lyrics, it's just, I was traveling around in my 20s in Europe, and it was kind of about trying to be cool, try to be a hip tourist. That's a lyric lifted in the song. You wanna not look like your typical American tourist. You wanna with your camera.
right?
Yeah. You want it to look like an old school camera, not one of those long. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I always thought this.
Go ahead.
I always thought this song was like about kind of like a rom-com vibe. Like you're meeting somebody in Sacré-Cœur and like they're going up the stairs and you're going down and you catch your eyes and stuff and.
Yeah, well, that
I totally see that.
Yeah, a great moment like that where you're, looking out at Paris because you see this great view of Paris from that cathedral, and yeah, you're just looking, maybe to meet somebody special. Who knows?
This is more of like a rom-com song too, isn't it?
This is a breakup song.
Oh yeah, breakup song.
Yeah.
So the end of Act 2, maybe.
It's like the middle of the rom-com.
We should market this song as like a scenes from a marriage interpretation. boost its popularity.
Yes.
Sounds like another music video is coming together.
Yeah, totally. That's a great idea. I really think top 5.
You really get into it.
I
You
get to
really
hit the
start
floor tom a
headbanging
bunch, man.
your head.
How do you prep the bass samples for the live set?
Good question. So, I mean, that kind of takes it back to the writing process too, right? Like, so Spencer comes and she's got the song, and then I'm like, okay, what note is that? And on the pad, I actually sampled just a bass directly into the pad, individual notes from, I think, like a low B to like a second octave G or something. And I'll just take a pad, one of those root notes, and then ask her what the next chord is, hit the next one. So then I at least have a couple of those going, and then I try to get a pattern going that I can play with the drum kit. So once it's all said and done, it's I think a 3x3. It's just an SPDS. So I get 9 notes per song, which can be kind of tricky. And then basically, I try to keep the pattern simple. Like maybe the verse, they're all in a row. And then for the chorus, they're in another row. But like some songs get really tricky where it's like, cool, the verse is great. I just hit them right in a row. But then the chorus, I have to really bounce around or something. So each song, I basically have to just memorize a different pattern. And I have no idea what notes I'm playing, really. Which gets
you organize though. I mean, do you organize like chromatically, or do you organize like some other way?
It's like my part, man. It's like, like pad 1 might be a low note, and pad 2 might be a higher note, and then pad 3 might be a even lower note. It just depends on how the part goes, because I try to keep a section of the entire pad like grouped to one part, like the verse, so that it's not too hard to memorize. Like it's like memorizing shapes. Like it's kind of like the Simon Says game.
Yeah.
Totally. Nate, as a drummer, this makes perfect sense to me, but I see how it could like break your brain,
No, I mean, I was just wondering.
Really, as a drummer, it makes sense. You just want to go like left to right or top to bottom if you can.
Right.
You don't want to be thinking chromatically. You just want to hit the right thing.
Right. And
yeah.
So sometimes it works, and sometimes I do have to like cross all the way over the pad or whatever. I mean, it's kind of like if you had one of those. I see these huge ass Novation pads with like seems like it's like 100 buttons, And like, how would you ever know where your samples are in there? So sometimes it does feel that way. It gets more difficult. Originally, I just wanted to have a 1 octave of like an electronic marimba, that I could just put on the kick drum basically in front of me. And so I would know what notes I'm hitting. One thing, they're bigger than I thought, and 2, they're more expensive than I thought. And having the SPDS is cool for other stuff too. I've used it a ton for other things. And the other cool thing is like with those marimba pads, you'd have to have a separate MIDI brain. I also thought about maybe doing. When we were forming this band, we're like, how are we going to get the bass notes? We don't want to do pre-recorded. But play to a click, have headphones on all the time, all that kind of stuff. It's really fun having them on the pad. Like I can slow down a song tempo-wise and always be on. With a bass player, if you try to slow something down then they don't know. You're kind of messing things up. But I can really mess with the tempo and the hits. Yeah, you just hit the bass note at the same time as the crash, and it's always on.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Another thing we floated was like getting an organ pedal set up and like instead of the hi-hat or something.
Didn't you?
Yeah, that's really, really hard.
Yeah.
And maybe it is nice to have the hi-hat be able to keep some time and fill out a little bit of the like what a hi-hat does, the hi-hat rhythm with your left foot while your right and left hand are doing way too many things. So yeah, I don't know if that answers the question, but
no, have you seen him, Howie?
No, I haven't.
You wouldn't hear it and think he's sacrificing something to get the bass, like to fit the bass in or something. Like it's really impressive. And the other comment I was gonna make, were you done? Like, did you have another question?
Oh, me? Yeah, I do, but
yeah,
go ahead. I have like an ending question.
Oh, okay. Well, so you didn't bring any of your own guitars or pedals, but the sounds are really, I mean, it was just really powerful. It seemed like very heavy, just good distortion. I mean, I know that some of that is how you're playing it, but I'm just it's really cool how you got whatever sound you got, and if that was a more Winston or if that was just like you finding the right tones on the pedal.
I think it was obviously it would be a combination of the two, but I worked with what I had to try to achieve the sound that I was used to, so I definitely, tweaked the amp tones. And I mean, the Gretsch, it was like a semi-hollow body electric, I think it was the Panther, he said. And so it was had a really rich sound.
Okay.
And I typically play a Steinberger, which is a little tiny electric guitar.
Like the headless one?
Headless stop.
Steinberger.
Yeah.
The Spirit. Yeah, I love it. It's so lightweight. So that doesn't necessarily have the best tone, but I just love playing it. So
I mean, I think as far as the tone of the record, it's like production, because you should link this too. It's that Pulp Arts studio in Gainesville. I mean, if you just look at some pictures of it,
it was by far the best studio.
It's insane. They've got a great board and a bunch of great outboard gear. The room sounded good. He was using really cool microphones. He did like the weather vane miking technique on the drums, which I couldn't explain myself, but if you want to look it up or something, it's awesome. So I think the big sound is all that, I mean, and listening to it after the day we recorded it, I mean, it sounded great then, and then when he started sending us mixes and eventually masters, it was kind of insane, the difference.
I should mention Mike Nolte. He was the one who actually did the final mastering.
Oh yeah, Mike Nolte.
Mike Nolte of Ghosty, Lawrence fame.
that his mastering company is called More Famouser, I think.
Yeah, and he also recorded the final Kinetics album that we have.
So he's in
Portland, I believe. Still. Yeah. That is right.
That's cool. Well, my last question was just like, what's next for Alien Hellbop? What's coming in the future?
Well, we don't have any like plans to record again, like in the foreseen future, but I mean we want to. We've been talking a lot about another music video just for this EP, just because it's fun. We don't play out very much. It's like once every couple months or something.
You're playing August 26th.
There you go.
Yes.
We do have an upcoming show in Lawrence on the 26th of August with Nate. Do you know who else is on that bill?
Mata at Odds and Semper Veritas.
Semper Veritas.
Wow.
Debut of a brand new band. I have no idea who's in it, but it's
I've been hearing little snippets here and there of that band. I think they're really up and coming, man. I think it's going to be really great.
No, that'll be cool. Mata at Odds is good. It'll be fun to see you guys.
Yeah, I haven't checked them out yet.
But yeah, I mean, I do think I'd like to write some. We have some songs we haven't recorded yet, and just write some more material and put out another EP probably sometime.
Yeah, it's just like writing and practicing, and then an EP eventually. I would like to do an EP that where we do the duo thing. We could still add synths or whatever, but just get the actual with the sample pad.
Like do it how you actually would do it instead of. Yeah. I get you.
And if it sounds garbage, we'll scrap it.
Yeah, that would be cool to hear that. That'd be at least, like we're saying, to start there, and then you can hear it back and see where you want to take it from there. But that would be cool to hear for sure. Well, you can grab the EP at alienhellbop.bandcamp.com. Spencer and Braden will be back next week. We're going to listen to some of the other bands we talked about kind of at the top that they're involved in. Thanks for coming on, and we'll see you next week. It's been the Long Play Listening Party. Later, everybody.
Bye.
Out.